My sister inherited everything. The house. The money. Grandma's jewelry worth over $200,000. I got a cardboard box with old photos. Until 60 days later when the lawyer called about a second will. This is a story about documentation, patience, and why the golden child doesn't always win. If you've ever been the forgotten one in your family, this will feel familiar. And if you're documenting abuse right now, keep watching. What my grandmother did changed everything. And it was completely legal. My name is Sarah. I'm 32 now, but this story starts when I was about 7 years old. That's when I first realized my sister Claire was the golden child and I was the other one. Claire was 3 years older. Beautiful. Charming. The kind of kid who could do no wrong in my parents' eyes. She got straight A's without trying. I worked myself to exhaustion for B's and still got compared to her. When she wanted piano lessons, they bought a grand piano. When I asked for art classes, they said we couldn't afford it. The piano cost $8,000. But the worst part? My grandmother saw all of it. Grandma Helen lived with us from the time I was 5. She had her own suite in our house, my parents' house technically, though she'd helped with the down payment. And she watched. She watched every dismissive comment. Every time my achievements were downplayed. Every time Claire got credit for my work. I remember when I was 14 I won a regional science fair. My project on water purification was good enough to go to state. My parents couldn't make the ceremony because Claire had a volleyball game. Grandma came. She was the only one. She held my hand that day and said something I'll never forget. I see you, Sarah. I've always seen you. I didn't know what she meant. Not then. It got worse as we got older. Claire went to an expensive private college, $60,000 a year. My parents paid for everything. Her apartment, her car, her sorority dues, her spring break trips. When it was my turn. We think you should stay local. Save money. Maybe community college first. I took out loans. I worked 3 jobs. I graduated with $80,000 in debt while Claire graduated debt-free with a car as a graduation present. Grandma watched all of this. She started having more private conversations with me. Coffee dates, just the 2 of us. She'd ask about my life, my goals, my struggles. She actually listened. When I got my first real job, underpaid, overworked, but mine, she took me to dinner. Just us. She squeezed my hand across the table and said, "I'm proud of you. I know they don't say it, but I am." My parents didn't acknowledge the job at all. Claire had just gotten engaged and that was the only thing that mattered. The engagement. Got the engagement. Claire was marrying money. Her fiancé's family owned commercial real estate. The wedding budget? $150,000. My parents contributed $50,000. They told me I'd need to pay for my own wedding when the time came. Grandma came to the engagement party. She was Freilier by then, 84 years old, moving slower. But her mind was sharp. He pulled me aside that night. "Sarah, I need you to know something," she said. Her hands were so thin by then, almost translucent in the light. "I've been keeping records. Of everything. The piano versus the art classes. College costs. Every birthday where your gift cost $20 and Claire's cost $200. Every accomplishment they ignored." I didn't understand why she was telling me this. "Grandma, it's okay. I've made peace with it." She smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. "Maybe you have. But I haven't. And I've taken care of something. I need you to trust me." 6 months later she was in the hospital. Pancreatic cancer. It moved fast. Claire visited once. She stayed for 20 minutes, took a selfie with Grandma for Instagram with the caption, "Prayers for Grandma Helen," and left. I was there every day after work. I'd sit with her, read to her, just hold her hand. She couldn't talk much by the end, but she'd squeeze my hand. 3 times. Our signal. It meant, I love you. The day before she died, she pulled me close. Her voice was barely a whisper. The lawyer will call. Don't let them rush you. And Sarah? Don't feel guilty. You earned this. I had no idea what she meant. Grandma died on a Tuesday morning. I was holding her hand. The funeral was the following Saturday. It was beautiful. I'd planned most of it. My parents were too devastated, though they'd barely visited the hospital. Claire flew in the morning of the service and flew out that evening. She had a vacation planned, she explained. The will reading was scheduled for the following week. My parents' lawyer, Mr. Richardson, had been handling Grandma's estate. Or so everyone thought. We gathered in his office. Me, my parents, Claire and her husband. Mr. Richardson looked uncomfortable. Before we begin, he said, I need to clarify something. I handled the primary will for Mrs. Helen's property and assets. However, 3 years ago she engaged a separate attorney for a secondary document. That attorney, Mr. James Chin, has informed me he'll be handling the actual distribution of the estate. My mother's face went pale. What do you mean, secondary document? A second will, Mr. Richardson said carefully. Apparently created later, which typically supersedes earlier documents. Mr. Chin will be in contact to schedule a formal reading. Claire laughed. Actually laughed. This is ridiculous. Grandma wouldn't have done something like that without telling us. But she would. And she did. The call came 60 days after Grandma's death. Mr. Chin introduced himself as an estate attorney specializing in complex family situations. He wanted to meet with me. Alone. I sat in his office, confused and honestly a little scared. Miss Sarah, he began, your grandmother was one of the most meticulous clients I've ever had. She came to me 3 years ago with documentation spanning 27 years. He opened a file. It was thick. Hundreds of pages. She kept records of every financial disparity, every missed event. She had a journal with dated entries. She even had audio recordings. She'd started using a recording device when her memory started slipping, she said, but really she was documenting conversations. He showed me spreadsheets comparing money spent on Claire versus money spent on me. The totals were staggering. Over $400,000 difference from childhood through our 20s. She documented your parents explicitly stating in her presence that Claire was the successful one and you were the disappointment. She recorded your mother telling someone on the phone that they only needed to worry about Claire's future because you'd figure it out or not. I felt sick. Why are you showing me this? I asked. Because, Mr. Chin said, your grandmother wanted you to understand this wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision. This was carefully planned. She wanted to ensure her estate went to the grandchild who deserved it, who earned it through loyalty, love, and presence. He slid a document across the desk. The second will leaves you everything. The house valued at $800,000. Her investment portfolio, approximately $570,000. Her jewelry collection, appraised at $215,000. Her personal savings $98,000. I couldn't breathe. That's over $1.6 million. $1.68 million to be precise, he corrected gently. There's also a provision that Claire receives the box of family photos and one specific item, a pearl necklace worth approximately $300. Your parents receive nothing directly as they're not in the will. But the first will. I started. The first will left everything to your parents to distribute as they saw fit. Your grandmother told me she knew exactly what they'd do, give everything to Claire. So she created this second will, had it properly witnessed and notarized, and made sure it was legally airtight. He leaned forward. Your grandmother anticipated challenges. He prepared for them. This document has been reviewed by 3 separate attorneys. It will stand. There's one more thing, he said. She left you a letter. The formal reading was scheduled for the following week. The whole family again. Plus Mr. Chin this time. Claire walked in confident. She'd already been planning what to do with her inheritance. She'd told Mom she wanted to sell the house and split the money. Mr. Chin didn't waste time with pleasantries. I'll be direct, he said. The most recent will, executed 3 years ago and properly witnessed, leaves the entirety of Helen's estate to her granddaughter Sarah. The room went silent. Then Claire laughed. That's absurd. There's no way. I have the document here along with supporting evidence of Mrs. Helen's sound mental state at the time of execution, medical records confirming her competency, and testimony from 3 witnesses who were present. My father stood up. This is a mistake. Mother wouldn't have done this. Your mother, Mr. Chin said calmly, left extensive documentation explaining exactly why she did this. Would you like me to read from her statement? Yes, I said. My voice surprised me. It was steady. Mr. Chin opened another folder. This is Helen's declaration in her own words, written to be read at this meeting. He began to read. To my daughter and son-in-law, I watched for 27 years as you built one granddaughter up and tore the other one down. I watched you spend $438,000 more on Claire than on Sarah. I watched you miss Sarah's achievements while celebrating Claire's mediocre ones. I listened to you call Sarah a disappointment while Claire, who treats people like stepping stones, was your pride and joy. My mother was crying. But Mr. Chin continued. I documented everything because I knew you'd contest this. I recorded conversations. I kept receipts. I have proof of every claim I'm making. And I'm leaving everything to Sarah because she earned it. Not through manipulation or entitlement but through genuine love and presence. He was there. For me. When none of you could be bothered. Claire stood up furious. This is garbage. We'll contest it. You can try, Mr. Chin said mildly. But I should mention that Mrs. Helen included a no contest clause. Anyone who challenges this will forfeit even the small bequest they received. Claire, that means you'd lose the pearl necklace and photos. I don't care about a stupid necklace. Then contest away, Mr. Chin replied. Though I should mention 3 separate estate attorneys have reviewed this document. It's airtight. You'll spend $50,000 in legal fees and lose. My father looked at me for the first time. You knew about this? No, I said honestly. I found out a week ago. You could contest it yourself, my mother said desperately. Tell them it's wrong that you want to share with your sister. I thought about that. For maybe 3 seconds. Then I thought about the piano I never got. The college they wouldn't pay for. The job they didn't acknowledge. The engagement party where I was an afterthought. The funeral I planned alone. No, I said. I don't think I will. Claire exploded. She called me names I won't repeat. She claimed I'd manipulated Grandma. She said I'd always been jealous. She said I didn't deserve any of it. Mr. Chin let her finish. Then he said, I have one more document to share. Mrs. Helen anticipated this reaction. She recorded a video message. He turned a laptop around. There was Grandma. Healthy maybe 2 years ago sitting in her room. Hello, my darlings, she said. Her voice was strong. If you're watching this, I'm gone and someone is very angry about my will. Let me be crystal clear. I was of completely sound mind. I knew exactly what I was doing. And Sarah, if you're doubting yourself, don't. You showed up. You cared. You loved me when others couldn't be bothered. That's worth everything I'm leaving you. He smiled at the camera. Claire, I loved you too. But I watched you become someone I don't respect. You can contest this if you want. You'll lose. And maybe, just maybe, this will teach you that actions have consequences. The video ended. Nobody spoke. Finally, Mr. Chin handed me a thick folder. These are the estate documents. The house is yours. Your parents have 30 days to remove their belongings. They've been living there rent-free, but it was always in Mrs. Helen's name. The financial accounts have been transferred. You're now the sole owner of everything. Claire did contest the will. She spent $67,000 in legal fees over 8 months. She lost. Completely. The judge reviewed Grandma's documentation and called it one of the most thoroughly evidenced estate decisions I've seen. He actually praised Grandma's foresight in protecting her wishes. Claire had to pay her own legal fees. Her marriage started cracking under the financial stress. Turns out her husband's family wasn't as rich as they'd pretended. My parents tried to guilt me into doing the right thing and sharing. I told them I'd think about it. I thought about it for approximately 5 seconds, then said no. They didn't speak to me for a year. I sold the house. It was too big for me, and honestly it held too many painful memories. I paid off my entire student loan debt, all $80,000. I bought myself a modest condo. I invested the rest carefully. I also started a scholarship fund in Grandma's name for overlooked students. The ones who work hard but don't get recognition. The ones like me. Eventually my parents reached out. Not to apologize. To tell me Claire was getting divorced and could I help her out financially. I said no. They called me selfish. Ungrateful. Said Grandma would be ashamed of me. I hung up and read Grandma's letter for the 100th time. The one Mr. Chin had given me. My darling Sarah, it said. Don't let them make you feel guilty. You don't owe them anything. You owe yourself everything. Build the life they said you couldn't have. Be happy. That's the best revenge, not anger but genuine happiness. I love you. I've always loved you. I saw you. Grandma. That was 4 years ago. I'm now 36. I'm engaged to someone who thinks I'm amazing. I have a career I love. I have peace. Claire reached out 6 months ago. Not to apologize but to ask for money. Her divorce wiped her out. She's living with our parents now. I said no. My mother called me heartless. Maybe I am. Or maybe I'm just done being the forgotten one. Here's what I learned from all of this. First, document everything. Grandma didn't just complain about favoritism, she recorded it. Dates, amounts, conversations. When it mattered, she had proof. Second, playing the long game works. She didn't confront my parents. She didn't cause drama. She quietly made sure justice happened on her terms. Third, you don't owe your abusers forgiveness. Everyone told me I should be the bigger person and share. Why? Because they're family? Family doesn't mean you get to treat people badly without consequences. Fourth, legal protection is everything. Grandma didn't just make a will, she made it airtight. She anticipated every challenge and prepared for it. Fifth, sometimes the best revenge is simply taking back what you deserve. Not with anger but with dignity. Grandma didn't punish Claire and my parents. She simply stopped enabling them. This wasn't about money. It was about recognition. About being seen. About someone finally saying, "You matter. You mattered to me." To recap, a golden child sister. A lifetime of being overlooked. A grandmother who documented everything. Secret second will. $1.68 million left to the forgotten child. A contested will that failed. Legal fees wasted. A family that never learned. Me. I learned that sometimes justice doesn't come from confrontation. Sometimes it comes from someone who loved you quietly preparing the way. Grandma didn't just give me money. She gave me validation. She gave me proof that I wasn't crazy, that the favoritism was real, that I deserved better. And she gave me permission to stop trying to earn love from people who'd already decided I wasn't worth it. If this resonated with you, if you've been the scapegoat, the forgotten one, the disappointment, you're not alone. And you're not wrong. Sometimes the people who should love us unconditionally simply don't. That's on them, not you. If you found value in this story, I'd appreciate a subscribe. And if you have your own forgotten child moment, I read every comment. You might see your story here next. Remember, being forgotten by them doesn't mean you're forgettable. It means they weren't capable of seeing your worth.